All right, welcome to day 4. So today we're looking at the difference of squares. So this is a special case of factoring. It's not like a general version. It's just if you happen upon this setup, you can use it. Okay? And so we've learned so far GCF, TLC equals 1, TLC is greater than 1, and then this is the difference of squares. So this is kind of all we need to factor quadratics in general, because most things can be done with TLC is greater than 1 if you can do it. Okay, so let's start out. We're going to look at finding the square root in general, right? You should be experienced with the square root. So like, for example, the square root of 36, that's just 6, right? Reason being, 6 times 6 is 36, okay? Square root of 81, that's 9. Square root of 16, that's 4. Square root of x squared, a little more challenging, okay? So technically, this is plus or minus x, but we're just going to put x. We're going to say that the x squared and the square root cancel, okay? They're kind of inverse operations. So that's going to be a nice way to look at that, all right? And so the square root of 49y squared, the square root of 49 is 7, and the square root of y squared is y, okay? So that's just a start. It's going to be really helpful later on, not so big right now, okay? So the biggest pattern that we can use this is there are a few patterns that you can use when factoring. This is the most important. There's a bunch of other ones that you can use, right? Things that operate in a certain way, but this one's really common, okay? So the pattern is if you see something of the form a squared minus b squared. So I always like to say something squared minus something squared, okay? What it is it's a minus b times a plus b, okay? Reason being is if you actually fill this out, the middle term, the negative BA and the AB on the outside, they'll cancel. Okay, so it kind of works out really nicely. So it doesn't matter if you put A minus B or A plus B first, right? You can flip-flop those. But in general, that's all you need. So the reason we did square roots is that you're going to need to find the square root of this to find the A and the square root of this to find the B. Okay, so let's do a few of these. Y squared minus 16. Ask yourself the question, is it in the form of something squared minus something squared? Yes. Okay, so the first one is y. So we're going to put that there. The second one, the square root of 16, that's 4. So you can put 4 here and 4 here. So it's just going to be y plus 4, y minus 4. That's it. Okay, nothing to it. So for this one, the square root of this one is x. The square root of this one is 9. So I'm going to put x minus 9, x plus 9. That's it. Done. Okay? To be clear, you can do this with the TLC is equal to 1 setup. It just takes a little bit of work. All right? This one right here, we got n minus 3, n plus 3, because the square root of 9 is 3, right? And the next two are going to work very much the same. So do these on your own. I'll check them with you in class tomorrow, okay? All right, so now on a little bit more challenging ones. So looking at this one, again, I said this is of the form something squared minus something squared. So the square root of this first piece is actually 5m, right? So this is going to be 5m minus 6, square root of 36, 5m plus 6, because we need to square root both pieces. Square root of 25 is 5, square root of m squared is m, okay? That's probably the hardest one. Do these two on your own. Again, those are going to work very similar. It's nothing too crazy, okay? And we'll do this last one. So again, something squared minus something squared. We're in business. The square root of 64 is 8, so we have 8c minus square root of 16 is 4, 8c plus 4. Okay, nothing too bad there. So now, before we go on to the day 5 stuff, this is really important. Before you factor anything, I want you to check to see if you can take a GCF out. So we have a few challenges here. You always want to make sure that you do the GCF, the day 1 stuff, first. Because once you've done that, the problem gets easier. Okay, the problem is really brutal and you're not going to have it right if you don't do that first. So you always want to start with a GCF. So we'll do only the first one. We'll do these two in class tomorrow. Okay, so all the brackets we'll do in class. So out of these first two, before you do anything from today, can you actually take out a GCF? So looking at 18 and 8, the number that goes into both of those is 2, right? If I take out a 2, I'm left with 9n squared minus 4, okay? So now this is when we learn stuff, okay? 9n squared minus 4 is of the form something squared minus something squared, right? The square root of 9 is 3, the square root of 4 is 2. So we get to actually keep going and factor the inside. So we have that 2 out front, 3n minus 2, 3n plus 2. So the 2 stays out front, and then we do the thing that we learned today. Okay? The next two work exactly like that. Nothing changes. But our goal is, for Monday, is that we always want to make sure we do the GCF first. Okay? That's it, though. We'll do the rest of those in class. Good luck with this. Okay? It's just a pattern. It's very useful. It's called the difference of squares. You want to make sure that you have these down. Okay? Hopefully you have GCF, TLC equals 1, TLC greater than 1, and now difference of squares all mastered now. Okay? Quiz next week. Good luck.